Okay. Hello, folks. Back for an afternoon stream. Not too long, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Pretty much, I just want to see if we can get the env running end to end. This is the client env, the one that happens to be open source. I'd like to have them a full prototype done so they can start playing with it because I've got some other work that needs to be done over the rest of this week. So ideally, I get them something they can start playing with. Now, let us see what we can do. I believe if we just do... Oh, right, this container needs to be rebooted real quick. There we are. So, no idea what messed up with this before, but we should be fine. Okay, perfect. Let's make sure breakout works. Oh. Well, I have no idea what's up with that SPS. That is a 19-second breakout. Wait. Oh, I'm on the wrong branch. I see. That is super weird. Yeah, this is 4.0 branch, right? Yeah, cool. I was gonna say, otherwise that would be really weird. Alright, that's more like it. 3637 mil. It runs. Can we run archive? No, we cannot. Yeah, so what we're gonna do, we're just gonna rebuild. Just grab the preload line. What do we have here? This needs to be like so. Floating point error and select buyer. Alright. That's all I need. That is all I need to debug. Welcome, YouTube folks. The plan right now, we're going to continue on this environment. It's a client env that happens to be open source. It is a commerce, like a cloud compute commerce simulator, pricing, buying, and selling. The only reason I can do this on stream is the client decided to open source it, so cool on them. And I am working on some updates and fixes for them. And the new version is just now getting bound back to PufferLib. And we have a few little bugs to fix. Nothing too difficult. Yeah, so right here, this num buyers. Got scripted buyers, we've got AI buyers. Interesting. Ah, you messed up. Look at that. So then what I should do is let's add some asserts so that we don't do this again. Cool. So AI sellers will be 1, script buyers will be 1, this will be 0. Sound good? We got more bugs. Keep a buffer overflow. And yep, it looks like we've got to improve, we gotta fix the obs generation as well. No big deal. So, yeah, let's look at what the ob size is supposed to be now, huh? I changed several things. Yo, I'm working on old school N. Have you ever played? My guy. Hang on one moment. Actually, I can do better than the high scores. Oops. One moment. What 3 items can I grab real quick? Yeah, okay, let's do it this way. Here you go. This is my account. And there you go. I do also have the dusted omelet in the house. That is my game, my guy. That game inspired my whole PhD. It turns out that Old School is like the best frickin' game ever for RL. You're not going to be able to make a whole env out of it that's actually fast. You can do individual bosses, though, very effectively. I've been, my fun thing off stream lately has been I've been learning Doom of Mahwatl. Been learning that boss. Got spooned to 2KC Eye of Ayak, by the way. But I've been trying to get to wave 8 and after. And, you know, it's as hard as that thing is, I guarantee you make a good sim for that, PufferLib will crush that in 1 minute. 1 minute of training, it'll do that boss perfect. Yeah. The system of that game is just so good for testing RL. Not top 100 ladder account, that's a little sweaty. Top 1% though, I'd say. How many accounts have Inferno these days? Probably more than before all the new gear, right? NH. Oh, NH is cool. I used to be like mildly okay, I would say. You know, I'd be one of the guys running around in like a 5-6 mil set. Nothing like nothing even great, but I could do okay. Um, yeah, NH you can do. It's like I think NH is gonna look less interesting though because it's basically just gonna look like AHK, which it is. Whereas if you do something that has more interesting mechanics to it, like Doom, or like well, Doom is actually a pretty hard one to simulate. There's a lot going on there. I started doing, I did this dumb vibe coding stream where I got pretty decently far into implementing an Ohm simulator. I think if we just did that, but actually did it correctly, Ohm would be an awesome one. Doom would be an awesome one. Hunlif, like Hunlif or Corrupted Hunlif would be a great one. What else is there that would be pretty cool? I think those are like the main super interesting ones, yeah. I guess there are some other ones that would be kind of funny, like you know how the God Wars bosses have very precise no damage strats you can use? Like I wonder if it would figure that out eventually. Things like that. Hope the workout went well. Oh yeah. I've gotten myself some training sessions with a stupidly good power lifter. They were essentially I went for like just a general assessment, and they said, "Oh yeah, you can book training sessions, by the way." And I said, "Yeah, yeah, of course they're going to try to sell me on those." He said, "Yeah, he's the state champion, by the way. He's like the state bench champion." And I go, okay, sure, sign me up." Human-like delays, 6 to 8 actions per dude. 6 to 8 actions per tick is still stupidly good. And like it's not it's very hard to model the human delays in that game, honestly. NH is fine though. Now I do hope you don't actually plan on sticking it in the real game. Please don't break my favorite game. I use all this stuff for research. I don't actually use any of it on the real game. Figure everything out with some nudging. Oh yeah, it'll definitely figure it out. It's NH is annoying because you have to do scripted, whereas the bosses are just like you don't have to do the like. Well, is it actually good if it has 50% win rate versus itself? You don't have to deal with that. I think I'll probably do some more game-inspired environments, but not until Puffer 4, because like Puffer 3 is good where it is. Puffer 4 is going to be stupidly good, and it's going to need some new hard ends. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there are 18 observations here. Oops. Eighteen ops. That looks good, right? And it's wrong here. Cool. But again. Hey, look at that. It runs. Doesn't seg fault. Hey, look at this score. It's actually kind of doing something which is funny. Um, so I have no idea what's up with these policies. We shall see. Trans 1.5 mil. 8,000 profit. Expense, not much. with very short episodes actually. So we will see what it has done. I'm gonna let it finish training, so we can sort of see, and then maybe we'll do we'll kind of put together what trades it's doing. Yeah, it's actually funny you bring that up though, Valteri. I had not played in 3 years because I've been building Puffer. And then, I figured I've gotten a lot of stuff done. There's the 25-year anniversary. It's all-time peak concurrent. All right, I'll let myself play a little bit. And if I end up playing too much, then I'll have to take another 3-year break. But damn, did I miss that game. Two years. Oof, yeah. That'll take some time. Congrats. It's kind of cool how much you retain your skill as well. Like, it's not like other stuff where you come back and it's like, well, I suck at this again. The muscle memory patterns are like very, very stable. It's such an interesting game to me because, well, one, it's super fun to play, but then also with the AI angle of it, it's like it's super efficient to simulate if you do it correctly. Um, it has all these interesting mechanics that are really difficult for people and feel quite complex, but are actually very like doable for RL. There's all this longer term stuff in there that's like hard for RL but very easy for people. And it's all quite self-contained, and you can kind of like simulate little chunks of it wherever you like. Top runner 2. Heh. Do I have gear for that right now? I think my melee gear kind of. Well, I have a scythe. The rest of my gear sucks. I don't know. I'd be down to run a top or two. I've been learning Doom. I'd actually, the thing that I would like to have more than anything, if I were to choose like one piece of content, it would be at least do the Ohm fight, which I started doing as a sim. Or if you could do the entire raid, that would be awesome. But that would be a lot. Scythe. Uh, Sold the Torvet helm yesterday for a ZCB for Doom. All I've got is bandos for that. Like, yeah, I don't know. Most of my gear is locked up in the T-bow. Love that game. I swear though, it's so weird. Like the type of things that are difficult for people versus the RL agents. Like I actually unironically think that some of the stuff on Verzik is harder for me than some of the stuff on Doom, even though it's like objectively way simpler. NH is pretty simple. Raids would take it. Yeah, NH is pretty simple. The thing that's annoying with NH is the action space for the inventory and such is pretty annoying. Doom would be harder. Yeah, full raid would take ages. I got pretty far into just doing like a basic of the Ohm fight. I actually got it to do the 3 to 0 cycle on Ohm. I got an RL agent to learn it with like my super crappy vibe coded sim. I did like this dumb vibe coding stream because people wanted me to. So I said, all right, well, we'll try this. And like I got decently far. It'd be way better if I just did it myself by hand. Um, I might do that at some point. I think it's really cool when there's like the thing that's really cool about the bosses for me for RL is there's usually like an obvious way to kill the boss where you take a lot of damage and then somebody figures out a zero damage strat for it, but it's kind of intricate. And then it's kind of cool to just see the RL agent just get it immediately, you know? Or like if the RL agent doesn't figure that out, that's also interesting, right? Because like the RL agent is not going to have a bias to just stand there, right, and be lazy. It's already going to be trying to kite a little bit, pretty much immediately. And then most of the strategies out there are just like fancy ways people have figured out to kite that lines everything up perfectly so you don't take any damage. So it'll be pretty interesting to see like, hey, those strategies took the player base many months to figure out. Can an RL agent do it in 60 seconds? At least one of our RL agents, right? Ours are really fast. Okay, we have this running, 28,000. So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to do a little bit of, just add a few prints in here. So we can see what is going to go on with this. Because we have a I'm trying to think what we would want to be looking for here. Oh, the entropy is super low. So I would think that this is going to be, I think I can just print the actions. How's Puffer 4? Puffer 4 is going. It's hard. We're at 9 mil steps per second, pretty much. I think the next stream on Puffer 4 will be tomorrow. And we're going to try, we're going to stop optimizing the existing kernels because that was driving me nuts. We're going to just write a few like basic kernels for everything else. We're going to fuse as much stuff as possible so we don't have like a million little element-wise ops in our profiler. And we're going to go from there. That's going to be the play. Hopefully that gets us pretty close to tenor. I do not know though. Okay, so we have action 8 on everything. Okay, so it learns action 8 for everything. Cool. Action 8 for everything is indicative of it trying to do, hang on, let me see. I think that's probably the most it can sell it for. But I think that's actually a perfect policy against the crappy scripted agent. That's nice. Because, let me think. So archive H. I think that's the perfect policy. Oh, actually, let me see. So it's job, wait, sell price, buy price. So it tries to go up on the price. Hmm. I actually don't know if that's a perfect policy. Let's like should we load this in? Let's load this in. We'll load in this as like a real buy scenario, you know? We have to fix that because that's obviously wrong. Oh, one. So what I'm doing here is I'm making a configuration of this in the C side that's going to match our training configuration, and then I'm going to just come up with a stupid scripted agent to see how much money it makes, and I'm going to make sure, or I'm going to see whether our trained agent is making more money. Reaction? Did I post the reaction video on YouTube? I think I did, right? I forget whether I actually like did. Hang on. Oh, apparently, let's see. I don't think I posted it, did I? I should have if I didn't. Hmm. RL agent learn from a scripted agent? It can, but it doesn't have to, FBR. I don't know. I probably could do more on the content side, but it's just such a distraction from, the actual work I do. I stream because I'm actually at least as productive, sometimes more productive on stream as off stream. So that making a puffer how-to YouTube series. The thing is, it's gonna change so much in the next version. Like the next version, honestly, it makes everything I did in Puffer 3 just look like stupid toy for babies. Like there's been so much work with it. I had to learn so much new stuff as well in the process, which is good. And it's very good to have to learn a bunch of new stuff. But man, it was a lot of work. Honestly, the thing that was the most amount of work that kind of screwed me was having to do the new architecture, right? Like if I just kept LSTM, it would have been substantially easier, but then the thing is, the LSTM call, it's like a cuDNN kernel, so it's monolithic. You can't really do anything to speed it up or to really understand why it's taking time at all. So at least now we have full visibility over our network, but it took so much work. And it's still not great. Like, I'm sure that my kernels suck. You know, even though they're so much faster than Torch, I'm sure they still suck. We'll probably put some basic bounties up, you know? Maybe I do something like, I don't know, what's reasonable? If I do like $100 per percent, you make Puffer faster. Do you think that would entice people? So you make Puffer 10% faster, you make $1,000. I have to make sure I actually like have some rules though, so I don't get like shitty low quality PRs that make a mess. When they are being observed, it's not because I'm being observed though. It's because like I'm narrating my thought process and stuff, and it keeps me more engaged. Like actually, the more you stream, the more it's just it just don't care I'm being observed, right? Interactive rubber duck. I mean, some of you people know some stuff, right? Competing against you, probably. Would you, if they're competing against you? Well, I'm not a kernel dev, dude. I just learned some of this stuff to make Puffer 4. Like, yeah, you're not gonna beat me at making RL good, sure. But you can totally, I'm very beatable at any of the individual little things that I do. Like, little bits of system optimization, right? A little bit of like bindings and stuff, CUDA kernel like all these little things I'm not great at. I'm just good at picking up enough of these things, and then I have the RL background to know how they need to be chained together into the actual thing we're building. It's hard to procrastinate. Yeah, but it's like the procrastination is not like, oh, I'm lazy. It's I literally cannot force my brain to work on something sometimes. It's weird. It's very odd. Well, it's not even really odd. It's kind of cool because I know I'm not just being lazy. when I can't make myself work on something just because of other areas of my life. And you know, you have discipline in other areas of your life, and it's like, well, it's not like I just have none in this area somehow magically. It's usually just my mind being like focused on another problem or just not having had adequate rest or whatever the hell, right? Open source is there to share. Yep. Can Puffer play Pokemon? Yes, it can. We have world first completion of Pokemon Red with AI. This is a powered by Puffer project. Where is it? Yeah, there you are. There's a blog post on it. Why doesn't the freaking GitHub load? Did he break his site? He broke his site. Well, whatever. There's a blog post somewhere. Hey, well. Now, I will say there was a lot of hacking and hand engineering in the Pokemon project, but part of that was because the environment is so slow. Like, Pokemon is about 1,000 times slower than our other environments. So, if a lot of the hand engineering stuff could have been way more automated and less hacky if we had reasonable sim speed. Okay, num agents. We're good. Any type of game you'd recommend starting with? I mean, if you're new, you pick something pretty basic that interests you that we don't have already. It's kind of tough to tell you ahead of time what's going to make a really good RL environment and what isn't, because a lot of stuff is actually very surprising, right? Like, so this slime volley enters a few hundred lines of code. This thing is pretty fun for RL. 2048 is a relatively short environment that ended up being a ridiculously useful for research. Tetris as well. Breakout we use all the time, right? So try to like do something you can do in a few hundred lines of code, though. You know, don't pick up a gigantic project. Do something that's going to be maybe, depending on your skill level, 200 to 400 lines of code maximum. Follow our guide, right? Like work through that and get something that you can actually have up and running relatively quickly. And then depending on how that goes, like try something more ambitious afterwards. Triple Triad, that was Spencer. Actually, that's a really fun environment. Um, I think Spencer will not be offended if I tell you that the code for this environment sucks. This was his first environment, and yeah, the code for this is ass. Uh, and now, like after 1 year later, he writes code that is like no flaws I see. Like pretty much, he writes code that's as good as mine. Yeah. So he like did this one, and then he built like a few others, and he kind of improved from environment to environment, and then he got up to where some of his newer M's. So like he built this tower climb env. This was one of his like bigger ones. This is quite good. It's like puzzle, 3D puzzle env. We collaborated on this, so he did a lot of the training side work on this one. And now he's doing real client work. So this stuff can be learned. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's a heck of a lot easier than it used to be. Well, there you go. Did he learn C with Puffer? I don't know how much. I don't think he'd really done much or any low-level dev other than like from school beforehand. He had a CS background, but he did not have an AI background at all. Like, he stuck around and actually learned the stuff properly. And now he's working on, I believe he's working on self-play research using the chess environment that Jess has been building. Self-play is going to be a really nice addition to Puffer. And I kind of just said, okay, Spencer, you go figure that one out. I'm going to work on optimizing 4.0. My bot learned this. No. You can't start with Minecraft because the existing Minecraft game is super slow. You could write a fast version of Minecraft and learn that, but that would be like a pretty complicated env. I think we do have a tic-tac-toe env. Like somebody's PR'd it somewhere, Jess. It's so easy though. Like that one will just be instantly learned. There won't really be anything to it. I think by Puffer 4, pretty much almost all new simple M's that are implemented correctly are just going to get one shot by the training algo. And then by Puffer 5, the goal is that pretty much all the medium complexity M's get one shot by the training algo. Realistically, we're kind of already one-shotting some medium-sized problems now, if you're including the sweeps as part of the automated experiment. But I think it'll be like really solid and stable by that version. Okay. Episode length. Job nodes TR. Eh? Cool. Do you believe? Wait, hang on. I missed a bunch of messages. Turn-based board games tend to be. It depends. It's tough to know without knowing more sounds. They're kind of obnoxious from an infrastructure perspective, though, just because like most of our stuff is by default. It's set up to go concurrent, right? So the turn-based stuff is a little annoying. We like low frequency concurrent games more. Do you believe our alpha will gain popularity? Absolutely. Puffer vs AlphaGo. That one would be tough, but I would be very happy if we got a Go agent that's like log linear and compute and stable. Kernel optimization fiasco ended at 9 million steps per second with more to do tomorrow. 1 million steps to go. Okay, I think this is like .debug, right? Hey, there we are. Yeah, does it make 22,000 energy revenue, really? That's funny. 0 job revenue. Interesting. Job TB usage. So it's to like 1. Actually, it's supposed to be like 200 gigs, right? I think that's fine. Okay, so we'll see what this guy does. I don't know what I don't know what that game is. Our reward scale is going to be totally messed up and such. We do have it in here. The 28K. 8K. Another card game. No card games. Um, Turn-based games are a little bit annoying. If you have a scripted opponent, then it's fine. It's just like turn-based self-play games are slightly annoying. We're doing it for chess. It's just like infrastructure is a pain. That's all it is. Oh yeah, what's that like multiplayer tank game? There are a few of those that would be pretty cool. I've been trying to get somebody to just finish Robocode as well. That one would be nice. There's so many M's, man. There's like so many cool things you can do. It kind of depends. Like I have a bunch of cool M's in mind as well. But like the medium complexity ones, I don't want to give to people who I think are gonna make a mess of them, or like the project's gonna be too hard rather for them to do until they've gotten some more experience. Bomberman. No, I remember though that being Palmerman, right? Like the that was used St. John Resnick's work. He used that in his PhD. That wouldn't be too tough to port. If that's, I think that's all the agents move at the same time, right? If it is, then that would be perfectly fine on our infra. Okay, so the energy expense is way too high here, right? Yeah, so it's just not bothering. I actually don't know then how it's making 28 grand off of this. Oh, you know what it's probably doing? It's probably waiting until the end of the episode and then buying or whatever. Yeah, so we gotta fix that. What do I do for this? Warhammer would be interesting. That's a super freaking complicated game, though. We don't want a game where the freaking Warhammer players can't even agree on the rules, okay? That's the bad goal. I know. I figure what's going to happen most likely is I'm going to end up with, for the next bit, I'm probably going to end up with a bunch of client work to do, as well as a bunch of work to do on the Puffer 4 release. And then after that, I'm probably going to be burnt for a bit, play some RuneScape, feel guilty about it, and then decide that I should make up for it by actually implementing a couple environments based off of that MMO's mechanics, because they're really good and would be pretty awesome test environments for Puffer 4. That's probably what I'm going to do, knowing me. Does it run on AMD and NVIDIA, or am I stuck on CPU? Well, um, well, it definitely trains on NVIDIA. You can also rent 4090s for like 30 cents an hour. I think you can rent 3090s for 9 cents an hour. And I think some people have it on AMD, at least Puffer 3 they do. So you're free to try that. From Puffer 4 onward, we are definitely developing like CUDA first and foremost, though, because it's just such a big perf boost. Now, if NVIDIA decides to troll and makes their new chips super expensive, or their desktop chips, and like AMD gets better about stuff, then maybe I change my mind. But for now, this is how it is. Or if the TPUs get an interface that does not feel like eating glass, then maybe we'll try some TPUs. So these all just have to go down by a factor of 1,000, don't they? Base. Let me see. Oh yeah, because this is now in dollars. So so 0.02 would be the correct thing for this, right? Yeah. So yeah, we just have our units wrong because we did the refactor. Fix that. Two. And then we do point. Okay, that looks pretty good. What box do you want me on since I got third amendmented? No, we're supposed to still have you on there, Jess. Can you figure out with Spencer if it's like I forgot that you were on there. Um, is anybody using the box one? Because I can move the stuff that's on that, like the other stuff we were doing on 0 onto 1. The third, is that the fucking quarter? It's quartering troops, isn't it? Or is that fourth? Yeah, that's quartering troops. It's the freaking XKCD. I take the third. Good configs. Spencer's using 1. I mean, you can run. Can you just run stuff on the rest of the GPUs, Jess? I think the it's just a maze exploration experiment. It's only using a few, like a couple of them probably. Like we don't need the whole box 0. We just have some maze exploration experiments that are like possibly going to make it into Puffer 5 if they work. As I had somebody who wanted to do some of them who's actually competent. So I figured it would be nice to spot the compute. Okay, energy expense much lower. Still big dope. Sensitivity and demand threshold, right? See how that works. Probably I still have to mess with it. So you got the base. Demand is, hang on, energy, demand base. Plus. Oh, you buffoon. You absolute buffoon. It's supposed to be price the base. Price sensitive. So price base here, yeah. Demand curve stays the same. So this just goes down a factor of 3, I think. Just go 1, 2, 3, like this, yeah? Yeah, much better. You dummy. Failed to unpack. Well, that's because we have a missed tuples, you dummy. Okay. How's chess going, by the way, Jess, if you're still here? I am quite excited for that environment. Do not let my, lack of supervision tell you otherwise. I've just been busy with all this crap. Chess is going to be such an awesome environment for self-play. Oh, look, it makes money. Okay. PufferLib can make money for you. I mean, in some sense it does, right? The business model of Puffer is that we build custom sims for companies um, that then work with our high performance reinforcement learning tools. So you could imagine if PufferLib were a closed source library, right, where we just had the fastest RL training out there by 3 orders of magnitude, that's also way more stable and has a bunch of other tools. And we said, hey, we could build you high performance sims for your problem and then have RL on it that actually works. That'd be pretty valuable, right? So that's how we charge, because essentially we say you get that, plus actually the library we're using to train is open source, so you're not even stuck behind third-party API walls. So it's actually just as valuable, if not more, being open source as closed source. Yeah, that's what we do. One 13.9. $20. Interesting. Buffer drone program. We do have a drone end, and we have an intern for the summer who's going to be working on drones. It'll be cool. We have a little bit of defense stuff as well. Not a ton. Should say defense adjacent stuff, not defense stuff. RL with differentiable rewards. I would want to see. I'd want to see compelling evidence that this makes sense, E10. Because, like, how the heck do you get a differentiable reward? Making the whole env differentiable is not a good answer. To define the reward. Or in a physical. Eh. Honestly, though, a lot of the times we just pick like 4 or 5 things that we think are relevant at most, and then we hyperpram sweep the coefficients, and then you just have a measurable outcome that you care about. So we don't pick the run that has the highest reward at the end. We pick the run that has the highest performance on the metric that we care about. So we got tech. 3, 2. Okay, so according to this, what's the revenue just doing this? It's a low ball offer. Definitely do this. Oops. See if we get logs now. We do. Episode return. It's reasonable. Okay. So do like this. Energy selling canceled out for now. It's 452. We can do a little bit more with this. Why is coup de graph so much faster than torch compile? Torch compile is just bad. That's kind of all there is to it. Like, honestly, the amount of trouble I've had with that thing, it just shouldn't exist. It's so bad. It's actually just the case that anytime I have to work with something written by an NVIDIA engineer, everything is cool. And every time I have to work with something written by a meta engineer, everything is awful. What does it do? Torch compile. It attempts to either trace stuff with coup de graph or fuse ops or do a bunch of fancy things. In practice, most of the time it spins for like 1 to 5 minutes and then makes your code slower. Google code? Yeah, I believe you. Honestly, most of the big tech companies just are full of awful, awful engineers. And then they mostly introduce a bunch of processes to try to wrangle a bunch of really awful engineers to building something that they can still somehow sell. It's like not where you actually go to look if you're looking for good engineering. Though they probably have a few good engineers that they, keep in a closet somewhere and they bring out whenever they really need to fix something. Or in Hawaii. I like to imagine that they have a few full-time engineers who they just pay year-round to be in Hawaii, and a few weeks every year they just say like, "Hey, we need you back immediately." It's like, all right, that's gonna have to be an upgrade for the rest of the year for Hawaii for me. It's like, all right, well, you'll get your upgrade. We'll send you to the better hotel. Okay, come back and help us fix our 5 step ones that the intern caused. That's how I like to imagine it. It don't work. Yeah, yeah. Go to pool. Hey, look, if they're not actually pushing code, they can't be pushing bad code. So, there you go. Okay, let me think what we do about this. If I try, if I just do this, I'm going to say, hey, there's no RNG anymore. Okay, you make 150 grand. I would think, okay, now you make nada, right? You still make nada. And now you make a bunch of money, right? 150. You still make 150 if you do this. No, you make less because you offered low. Okay, so you should be making 150 if I do this. Okay? So if I just do real quick, scripted buy price, I'm going to set this to 0. Visit offices, you claim more people at the pools than in the offices. That's funny. That's super funny. So you get a little bit of an increase, but not by much, right? 134? What is the end? This is a cloud marketplace commerce simulator. It's pretty cool. This is for Archive. They decided to open source it, and since it's open source, there's no reason I can't stream my work on it. Testing auctions. It's for pricing compute. So like they're training agents that can like buy and sell compute, and it's essentially like a pricing and negotiation simulator. Interesting. Okay, so on this we get 150, and it says we do get 150 profit as well. So how's that work? What's our policy doing is my question. Buy low, sell high? Yeah, well, probably not doing too much more than that right now, but it will be doing quite a bit. Now, RL sims kind of tend to, it takes a while to get the base sim into place and have everything be correct. And then the RL takes off quite quickly, though, once it is. It's quite nice, I'd say. Okay, look at that. So it's doing the right thing. You see? Okay, so actually the policy is correct and somehow the eval is different. Yeah, so this is like super uncommon that it does something wrong. So there's some sort of difference then. Auctioning compute, or are they building a market? I can only tell you what the simulator does. So it's a simulator of a compute marketplace. They may be using it for a variety of things, right? I'm not privy to all that, and to the extent I am privy to that, I can't tell you about that. But the sim is open source, so I figured I'd build the sim a little bit on stream. Because I've been lazy, I haven't been able to force myself to just focus and finish it, and they deserve to have a workable version of this already. So it seems to me that it's learned the correct policy, and we're somehow like reporting it wrong or something weird, is what it would seem. But you can check them out on Twitter. I figure we'll just toss them some free advertising. The stream's not sponsored, by the way. The sim is work for hire. Um, but the stream is not sponsored. I just thought it would be fun. So yeah, there's the tweet on the sim. There you go. And pretty good. It's pretty good. You know, I think I'm just kind of a goober, is what's going on here. I think we definitely got a gooberish streak. Because I'm pretty sure I'm just not averaging. You know? Oh, that's Pythonese. $148. Give it a million steps. Still saying 148 profit. Turn is 15. Interesting. Muy interesante. Let's try. Okay. Next thing. We are going to try a little extra on eval. Kind of tough to actually do this off eval, isn't it? You can probably do it off of training. You can probably do it off of training. Aha, you see? 134. So we've just got a small initialization difference, it would seem. Okay. Little train eval gap, interesting. I wonder if it's this thing. Yeah, it is. Okay, I did this wrong. Lo and behold, me dumb. At least we found it this time. I think we do it on a knit maybe. Oh, I mean, you have super stupid redundant code either way. Yeah, super stupid redundant code. Wait, how does this work? Oh, you so stupid. That's so stupid. You literally have it correct right there. Dummy. Unlobotomize. Hey, there's a 148. go back to 0.2 by randomization. That gets us to 145 with the RNG. Let's see if we can learn it. Let's see if we can learn it. Definitely don't want this in here. Okay, 145 number to beat. Kind of tricky, it looks like. $140K. Listening will it work? Chess has been good. Found an end bug that was super obscure. Nothing would affect training practically, but still neat. Nice. Configs are finicky. Sweeps do not do well with elo. Yep, nice to see. Intuition about chess correlate with hypers and self-play, higher gamma, smaller material reward. Positional rewards, so eventually we can do pure. Yeah, you can eventually do pure terminals. I think, Jess, you're going to be able to have something where you anneal off of material reward. Would be my my main guess, right? You do get 145 just off of interesting. Always picking 0. Or always picking 2. Oh, but this is the RNG penalty, right? Yeah, so 145 profit is the max here. If I just get rid of this, do we do better? Beat Stockfish 2? What elo is Stockfish 2? $47, 148. Level 2, so weak. Well, what elo is it though, dude? Do you know roughly what elo it is? Is it better than I am at chess? Feed previous reward as an obs, is that better for credit assignment? It depends on the environment. In chess, you can very easily learn the correlation anyways. In this, it's a little sketchy without it. Okay, so it matches this thing. It matches this thing without domain randomization, and slightly worse without it. 1100? Better than I am. Better than I am at chess already, so nice. We should add back in energy sales real quick. It's not that hard. I know that they actually care about those quite a bit. So the AI sellers are first, right? Like this shit, right? Something like this. Here we are. That ought to be nice. Maybe I'm silly. I feel you could apply to stock market and yeah, you could. I mean, we've done some finance work as well. economic principles would arise. Oh yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do, for sure. I don't know, markets like stock markets aren't as interesting to me unless you like paint a wizard hat on the side, say you're selling runes. So basically, if you make it a MMO market, I'm suddenly interested. That's how my brain works. I don't know what to tell you. uh, oh, that's fine. Let's see. It's 0.5. There's not much outplay potential here yet, but it's solid. Okay, there we go. That is a solid chunk of work. How do you keep RuneScape away? I don't, man. I stopped for 3 years. I downloaded it again. But to be fair, I I think I'm in a pretty good spot now where I'm not gonna just be like playing RS constantly because Puffer's actually got a lot of velocity behind it. So like the fact that I actually have everything on a roll now is good. Um, but what I did for the last couple of years is essentially I just put all the spare time into fitness, and I'm still spending a ton of my spare time on fitness, but I'm rehabbing a couple little injuries. You know, I'm doing some shorter distance training where I don't need as much volume. Yeah, I'm chilling. Anyways, all we have, well, I mean, all we got to look at now is the quick little outro. Well, you dev? No, I shouldn't have BR. Um, yeah, for folks watching, I stream all my dev. I'm gonna be doing some kernel optimization, probably converting some stuff, some torch ops to kernels tomorrow. For most of the day, we're gonna try to hit that 10 million step per second training on Puffer 4. If that interests you, if this interests you in general, please just take a moment to star the repo on GitHub. We're almost to 5,000 stars. It would be awesome to hit that. And if you want to get involved, join us on Discord right here. This is where you can contribute to dev. Follow me on X for more RL content.